declaration of any disposable pecuniary interest. Are there any? No. So that was done. And then 48422, apologies for absence. David, none? Full house, right? So those two are done. Now I'm going to request from the committee that I can bring the next item forward on the feasibility study. Is that okay with you two? Yeah, okay. So 48622, I open up the discussion from the committee on the feasibility of alternative land use for the Mumford Road allotments.
Okay.
Open it up to the floor. I'm going to go ladies first, Chris.
That's not an issue.
Sorry. I'm an old-fashioned person.
Yeah, I'd just like to say that as a councillor, I'm quite disappointed that since I've been a councillor for 18 months, it's just been rumours about parking and nothing definite until that lands in my email a couple of days ago, and it hasn't given me any time to consult with the people I represent on Boudica. At the moment, it's all ifs and buts, and I think we really need to go and agree to a feasibility study because we can't argue for what we don't know, and it will give us a good grounding in future if they do it with their agreement or not. I can quite understand where the allotment holders are coming from because I had to move from my house that I'd had connections with and lived in for 20 years and been part of for 30 years and leave in a 3-acre garden. And there's not a day it doesn't go past and I don't miss that garden. I still get choked up 40 years later. But I represent everyone in Boudica. I represent the people that can't get disabled access to the station. They have to go through muddy puddles to get to the platforms. So, I understand where the allotment holders are coming from, but if it's if the feasibility study involves in improving the station as well, that debate has got to be had, and the benefits or the against the allotments, it's got to be done unemotional. That's how I make decisions. I do a plus and a for, and I make decisions on what benefits the whole of Thetford. I can see where you're coming from, and heartfelt as it is, but I've got to make a pure logical decision. And and environmentally, I can understand mental health, getting out. When I lost my husband, that's where I spent my time, in my garden, chopping down the wisteria and taking my anger out on the wisteria and getting that out of my system. And I can understand where people come from. But environmentally, if people can travel to Cambridge and Stansted, Guildford and Gatwick and Norwich, isn't that saving the environment as well? There's lots of things, but until the feasibility study's done, we just don't know. And as it's been pointed out, you're better being in the battle than being on the sidelines. So I think we need to go ahead and put the recommendation through to the council of feasibility study.
Chris. Yeah, listening to the comments this morning, etc., I'd like to suggest this: to agree in principle to explore options for relocation of up to 100% Mumford allotments on the condition, and this is a vital condition, that there's a full consultation with the allotment holders.
Full consultation.
Full consultation with the allotment.
Is that good?
Mm-hmm. Do I have a proposal for that? You propose it, Chris?
Oh, I just did it.
Right. Do I have a seconder for that?
I wonder who that might be.
Yeah, that's going to be okay. So the vote of the committee in favour of that recommendation? Yes, and I'll even vote for it. Okay, so that recommendation's passed, and I recommend that we get hold of the members of this committee and your Breckland councillors and any other town council or Breckland council and even your Norfolk ones. Get to them and have a talk with them. Definitely. I'm open for, give me a ring. I'll meet somebody anywhere you want and have a cup of coffee with you and do whatever you need to do to it, because I'm passionate about allotments too. Chris.
I would like to suggest that we have an informal meeting with the Mumford Road allotment holder reps, and then another one with all the Mumford Road allotment holders.
I would be very in favour of that.
Have a concerted effort.
Okay. When's the next town council meeting?
28.
I don't know if there's a policy. We could 29th, so we could get a
Today.
meeting in the,
Like I said, I'll try and get people in the room.
yeah, please do before the town council meeting, so that they do get an opinion before that town council meeting happens. Is that, well, I won't say it's great, but is it some satisfaction anyway to it?
Need to be heard.
Yeah, okay, thank you. All right, so that will be the recommendation from this committee to the full council. And then what the full council says is not up to me. I'm only one member of it. Okay? All right, so that concludes that, people. So you're welcome to stay if you like, or you're welcome to go. We're going to discuss the budget for the allotment committee for the next year, which is riveting reading.
Excuse me, I just want to say to all our allotment holders, don't mind, is that right?
Yeah, go ahead. I
Very much for comment.
yeah.
Please, can you spread the word amongst those people that haven't come? It's actually taking place. We need to keep these allotments.
Precious, yeah.
And mind what the recommendation is, even from one councillor that seems to think that we should go through as a recommendation for the council or take the allotments. So we will continue to fight the fight.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And also, please email me with all your concerns so that I can form.
Okay,
Give to them.
we've got to go back to the thing. You're welcome. You know, I love people to be able to bring their opinions, definitely. So I hope to hear from you, some of you in the future. Mhm. So you blocking the, right?
Did you put in there?
I'm going to bring the meeting back to order so we can get it over with. My second one of the day, and I'd like to go get some lunch. So, okay, 48522, approval of the allotment budget. And this can be good reading how much little money we have for the budget. But yeah, I'll give it to our financial officer.
Thank you, Chair. I think there's, as we've mentioned at previous committees, we've got three key challenges. One is that we have inflation of, at the moment, it's estimated 10.4%. There's been a salary award that has happened that is on a sliding scale. So those at the lower levels of our staff get significant increases. Those at the higher levels get way below inflation increases. The second issue that we're facing is obviously utility costs. As you know, in terms of our allotments, we provide water free of charge. We don't charge the allotment holders for that. That sits in another department of the budget. We're expecting those costs to go up. The estimates are that they will go up fivefold. And the third issue that we have is that we actually have to maintain our assets, and we're trying to address that. So our initial increase in our council precept is actually very significant at the moment. Now, I don't want to cause people at the back to fall off their chairs if I start mentioning numbers. They're very preliminary at the moment, but it is just really a matter of we're in a very tough economic environment, and that reflects through in all the budgets that we've been preparing. If I just look at this budget here to deal with the specifics, we estimate that we're estimating income of 11,300 next year. It's not because we're increasing allotment fees. We've missed the window to do that, and we'll only do that. There has to be a year's notice to do that. So allotment fees next year are not proposed to go up. Why we've got more income coming through is that we've actually done a lot more focus on allocating out allotments, which we hope will increase next year. And also we are halving our allotments where possible, because some of our allotments, our full allotment sites are extremely significant, and we just need to halve those. The other line item in our budget is that we have forfeited deposits. We run quite a stringent process when people end their tenancies or decide to give up their allotments. And we actually, if they haven't left their allotment in a suitable condition, we forfeit their deposit, and that actually goes to fund some of our operational expenditure on the allotments. In terms of our other costs, I've set them out. There's not significant change from one year to the next. We looked at one of our priorities in our previous meeting was looking at security, so that's come into the budget. Special plot clearing, we're spending a lot more money on doing that. When people clear allotment plots and we kind of go and clear them up, we can find sometimes asbestos, and that costs us a significant amount of money to get rid of. And the rest of the costs, repairs to fencing. But what we're trying to do this year to be a little bit different is we're actually focusing on what are the maintenance needs at all our allotment sites. So my allotment officer, Carl, who's here in the meeting, is going around and coming up with a maintenance plan for each particular allotment site so that we can start prioritizing what's important, what do we need to do, and ensure that our allotment sites stay in a relatively sound and maintained status. So the proposal for the budget is that we will generate about £12,100 of income, and we will likely spend about £9,460, giving a net kind of surplus of £2,640. What we have done is, it doesn't mean that we're not spending anything on our allotments. We have another budget process where we look at projects. Those projects are funded from other sources of income. They're not funded from the precepts, and those will be identified and tabled at later meetings within the allotment committee. So if anyone has any questions, I'm more than welcome to help them, Chair, answer them.
No, fine. Good. It looks clear to me. Thank you. So yeah, I'd like to propose that we accept this budget. No, nobody's going to propose.
Proposer to accept the budget.
To accept the budget. Okay, yeah, otherwise we can't set the budget and.
We had read.
Okay, and I think we're all in favour of it. So yes, we're passing our budget.
How good I am in finance.
Yeah. So that is our last item on it. If anybody wants to have a talk with me after the meeting, I'll be glad to chat to you for a while. But I would like to close this meeting this moment. Okay.
Oh, that was good.
Yes. Right, we're finished.
Recording.
Yeah.
Is that off now?